Hey, hello ProGuides family, my name is Nathaning and I hope you guys are doing great because today I'll be bringing you guys a video on how you can carry yourself to the rank that you desire. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are really trying their hardest in solo queue and just can't seem to rank up. So today's video is going to be helping you guys with just that. I actually personally solo queued myself all the way up to global from silver 3 and this guide will be covering all that I've learned. Before we get into that though, today's question of the day is what was the moment that you all hope that you clipped? For me, it's gotta be the time I hit 4 1Ds in an eco round and I still don't understand how I was able to hit the first 3 shots, but I only have the demo of it unfortunately, or actually I've probably even lost that. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin on how to carry yourself out of silver. Carrying yourself out of silver is pretty much the first thing that new Counter-Strike players are tasked with. And it's actually quite difficult since when you're at this rank, you're probably still very much learning the basics of the game. The way you can push yourself out of here though is very much doable as long as you know what you should be focusing on. So what should you focus on? Don't worry, we'll be telling you. So if you're in the silver ranks and you aren't quite ranking up just yet, here's what you need to do. Most, if not all, players in silver rank are stuck there because their mechanics aren't on point yet, or in fact not at all. Leveling up your mechanics luckily is quite easy though, as long as you're willing to put in the time and effort. When you're in the silver ranks, your aim isn't quite there yet, as well as your gun control. Because of that, the first thing that you should be working on is your aim and basic movement skills. To do this, we recommend a lot of aimbots and deathmatch. Aimbots is a community map that can help you practice and warm up as you can try all different kinds of shooting styles and attempt to kill bots in different ways. Getting a schedule to make sure you don't leave out one of the key concepts can be very rewarding at this level. You most likely need to be working on all parts of your aim, so make sure that you actually do that and do not leave something out that is very important. We recommend a schedule that fits a little bit like this. First, you go for the first 50 kills while spraying with both the AK and the M4, then you do the same for bursting and tapping. Then you start working on the more specific areas of your aim, so you can go ahead and try to get 201 taps with flicks using the AK-47. And lastly, you can go ahead and get 100 kills in the deagle, making sure that you can move between each shot and are tracking with the bots while doing so. With this practice routine, initially you should be really good to go. It'll work on your gun control as well as your ability to flick and track targets and get comfortable with your mouse sensitivity. It'll also even help with the crosshair placement and counter strafing. I know this sounds like a lot of work, but honestly, if you love this game and you just want to get better at it, this is a pretty fun way to do so. You even don't have to follow this routine exactly though, as long as you're having fun and just working on that aim. The second part that you'll need to do if you want to carry yourself out of silver or any rank for that matter is developing an aggressive playstyle. Having an aggressive playstyle will make a big difference in whether you end up ranking up over the time span for a few years or a few games. It doesn't really matter if your mechanics are really good if your playstyle is too passive. The reason for that is that if you're playing too aggressively, your aim or great game sense doesn't really matter to the team as it's hardly being used. If you're always doing your best not to die and to play every round to perfection, making sure that you won't make any mistakes, then you won't even be able to have an impact on the round. If you're looking to carry it, you'll need to play like it. In silver, as long as you have good enough mechanics, you'll literally be able to run over the bomb site and just headshot whoever is holding there. It's just what one of those annoying smurfs do, and it's what you should do. And as long as you are spending enough time developing your mechanics, you should be good to go. In the silver rank, smurfing is such an issue because people with stronger mechanics are literally able to run over those who don't have it. So if you're already something as low as even a mid-rank CSGO player hanging around the Gold Nova to Master Guardian, you'll be able to hand out headshots left and right and you'll win your team every single round. In silver, there's honestly not really a need to play smart as long as your mechanics are good enough. To summarize this, basically all you have to do to get out of silver is to play aggressive and have good mechanics, which is achievable with even little time and you just run out and kill everyone. You don't have to really focus on what's smart or not, but I mean it doesn't really hurt to build good habits here either. Just focus on your aim and hitting headshots and soon enough you'll be out of the Gold Nova. Speaking of, we're going to be talking about how to get out of Gold Nova. Once you're here, how do you progress further and get into Master Guardian? Well, that's already slightly more difficult, but still kind of similar. Once you get into Gold Nova, you should spend most of your time working on your mechanics because even if it might not feel all the way, there's tons and tons of rooms for improvement. So what we're basically saying is to polish up these mechanics. So we'd advise you guys to stick with the practice schedule that you'd all hopefully have by now. But now that you're in the Nova ranks, you should also have to learn some new things to help you guys carry. The first thing that you should start to learn is crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is when you tactically position your crosshair so you have to do as little aiming as possible, and therefore you'll be able to get more kills quickly. When it comes to crosshair placement, you'll always want to have your crosshair at head level where you expect to have your opponent show up. So if you're peeking coffins at B site Inferno, you'll aim exactly where the head will need to be if the player is just holding there. The important thing is that you pre-aim at the spot before you even see the opponent, so that if there is an opponent, all you have to do is click. Basically, by doing crosshair placement, all you have to do is aim on the y-axis instead of the x-axis, which makes it easier to get those headshots. By having good crosshair placement, your time to kill and the amount that you'll have to aim will decrease drastically, meaning that you'll be able to get more kills more quickly, while also being more consistent and requiring less aim. When you're in the Gold Nova, and even when you're trying to get out of Gold Nova, it is by no means realistic to expect that you have mastered the art of crosshair placement, but it should definitely be something that you're thinking about. Aside from your crosshair placement, you should also learn how to do self-pop flash. A self-pop flash is a flash that will allow you to run into choke points while flashing your opponents without the help of a teammate. Basically, you'll be able to run out of previously risky areas without needing a teammate to flash for you. Having that ability will allow you to be more aggressive without getting shut down. You can even easily peek operas with it. Therefore, it is very helpful to learn it, because if you want to carry, you'll have to be able to deal with an enemy opera. To do a self-pop flash, all you need to know is to face up the flash with your hand and right click to throw it. So it's quite simple actually. There's also some other variants of a self-pop flash, like doing it while walking instead of running. Unfortunately, we won't really be able to go too in-depth on that in this video, but we still recommend that you play around with it and see which one you guys prefer. Aside from that, you'll also have to start learning some lineups for some common places of utility that you'll be throwing on each map. Think the A execute smokes on Mirage, think a CT and coffin smoke on Inferno, etc, etc. You'll want to start learning the most common smokes for all the maps that you play. Utility isn't just smokes though, so don't forget to learn at least 1 or 2 good pop flashes as well, as you won't really want to rely on your teammates, like we just mentioned before. And of course, you can never go wrong with learning some more utility like nades, molotovs, extra smokes, and extra flashes too. Lastly, you will have to keep up your aggressive playstyle, but tune it down a little bit. In Silver, you're able to do just the same thing over and over and over again, and it probably wouldn't even get countered, but in this rank, you might want to handle things a little bit smarter. Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't stop being aggressive. You don't even have to stop being the first one in every round, but try to switch up where you do your aggressive approach. If you have ran out on A ramp on Mirage 2 rounds in a row, maybe it's time to start out mid and go connector instead. Then maybe next round you go ahead and go Palace, and then again maybe next round you can be annoying and just go B by running up short. By doing all of this, you'll be Master Guardian in no time. So basically in Silver, you want to work on your mechanics such as aiming and being aggressive. And in Gold Nova, what you want to do is you want to tune those aggressive playstyles and work on other mechanics such as utility. Now that you're a proud AK, it is time for you guys to improve, but how much can you go about it now that you're above average player? Well, your first focus should be only on perfecting your crosshair placement. In Gold Nova, your crosshair placement was always a little bit sloppy, but now it is no longer tolerated and it's time to truly perfect it, especially since you're more comfortable with these maps. If you don't, you'll be staying exactly where you are in Master Guardian. Something else that we will no longer excuse is messy counter-strafing. If you want to reach the high ranks of CS, your counter-strafing is going to have to be so fine-tuned to the point of perfection. We really want to have perfect reliable counter-strafing without any exceptions. The last thing that we want you to perfect in this rank in order to reach the next few is spray control. You'll need to make sure that you're in a position where you feel comfortable spraying down targets with great precision, and you'll even want to be able to spray transfer that so you could get multiple kills more often. And lastly, of course, you want to be able to keep your aggressive playstyle but adapt it slightly. In the previous ranks, you'd be able to do that kind of stuff whatever and you'd probably get away with it, but now you should be able to get and create plays of your own and set utility and get preset goals in mind. Your goal should be to have plenty of plays for each map so that you can always stay unpredictable and mix it up on your opponents. You want to be in a spot where you could potentially use a different play every round while always having a big impact. Because just like any other rank that you'd like to carry, you need to be worthy and impactful so you'll be ranking up soon enough, in this case to the Eagle ranks. So you're a legendary Eagle, huh? Well, you're not global yet, but luckily you don't have that far to go. When you're the Eagle ranks, doing something really aggressive every round becomes a lot harder, especially on the CT side. So you'll want to be focusing on making sure that you play a high impact position. Like for example, playing A site or middle on Mirage. Playing in positions like this will make sure that in most rounds you can't be avoided and you have plenty of chances to make an impact in these rounds. Because you're trying to have as much impact as possible, rotating fast and early is also the key. Sure, sometimes rotation might be a little bit risky, but if your game sense is telling you that they're trying to avoid you this round, maybe it's worth it to rotate very early on and trying to go as far as sacking a bomb site. To add on to that, you also want to have a good idea on how to defend every single spot on all the maps. If your teammate is struggling and being targeted, it's up to you to take over for him and get the impact that you always need to have in order to carry. Of course, on the T side, you want to remain aggressive, but by now, you should probably have a good idea of what plays work and which ones don't, especially against certain types of players that adapt into the mid game. Have all that control and you'll be on your way to Supreme Master First Class. Alright, now that you're Supreme, you're probably almost there and you just need that little push. To reach global, you have to perfect every single thing that we mentioned so far. Make sure that you keep playing high impact positions, make sure you know how to defend each spot, and know your aggressive plays. But now you should also be really focusing on being a better teammate. Not saying that you shouldn't have been a good teammate before, but now this becomes a total team game. You should really do that by focusing on the energy that you're bringing to the team, as reaching global really just comes down to winning more games than you lose, so every single bit helps. If you're always bringing positive vibes, you'll simply win more games. And the third and final thing to do is get a pre-made. Getting a pre-made will ensure that you'll be able to win some extra games, it will make you a better teammate, and most importantly, it will mean that you'll reach global. Well guys, that's going to be it for now. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and even hit that notification bell for more videos such as this. Lastly, head over to ProGuides.com to get yourself a top tier coach, and if coaching really isn't your thing and you just want to watch a video like a masterclass, then we have one by Simple himself. Anyway, with that all being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and stay healthy. Peace.